This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
You know, some whack job can say this stuff and get away with it?
Nobody knows who the hell he is.
Claiming the US is being invaded by Venezuela. President Donald Trump has invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, allowing him broader leeway on policy and executive action to speed up mass deportations of people who are in America illegally. The sweeping wartime law of 1798 potentially pushes Trump's promised crackdown on immigration into higher gear. Mr. Trump's declaration targets the Tren de Aragua gang, contending it is hostile and is forcing themselves on America at the behest of the Venezuelan government. The declaration came on the same day that a federal judge in Washington barred the U.S. administration from deporting 5 Venezuelans under the expected order, which is very bad and nasty and mean. And we'll be going ahead with the Alien Enemies Act very strongly and with great strength. And the strength will be strong and with great strongitude and strengthness. No one ever saw such strong strength, and we're looking at numbers nobody ever saw before, which is tremendous and huge and hugely tremendous and strong. Messages from last night. Chris emails, what happened to research? Why is it now always research? Same with resources, turning into resources. Watch out, review, repeat, renew, reveal. They're coming for you next. Oh, I see. What? I get it. Review, not review. It's review and repeat and renew and reveal. They're coming for you next. He says, what is it? Where? Hello? He says, what is this invasion of the re? It's the grey squirrel of the English language. Let's take it out. Them squirrels have got it coming. They ousted our little red bouncy homegrown squirrels. Oh, so cute. What we got now is like grey tree rats. Awful. Because they come over here. Text regarding COVID. It's good news for the... and I mentioned that last night they've found another mad bat disease. Yeah, and it's even worse than the last one they found. And we're all doomed, more or less. And this story was buried. I mean, not on the front page of any paper at all. It's not even on the second page. It's almost invisible. You had to really search to find it. It may, if we're really unlucky, become the story of the next year. Oh, God, please let that not happen again. Can't stand it. Having to follow the arrows on the floor in supermarkets? No thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
But no thanks. You got the face masked Nazis standing outside a supermarket saying, well, you can't come in, you haven't got your mask on. And I forgot my mask. Yeah, I know, I'm a stupid idiot, but I drove all the way down here and I forgot my mask. Can I use this one that I just picked up from the pavement?
Disgusting.
I saw somebody do that once. What a idiotic thing to do. Picked up a mask that somebody else had thrown away on the pavement and put it on their face. Anyway, text says, regarding COVID, it's good news for those PPE companies that are already registered via the VIP lane. Yacht manufacturers are ramping up in readiness of a sales boost. Not rumping up, ramping up. And this text says, Trump's statement today about how he's urged root and toot and shoot and Putin not to massacre the thousands of Ukrainian troops he said are encircled by Russian forces misses a vital point. They're at risk of being annihilated because he stopped the US intelligence, which meant their missiles and weapons were redundant. That's the leader of the free world. But at least his psycho friend is happy that his dirt on the Donald is paying dividends. Yeah, he must have something, root and tootin' on the Donald. Must have. Otherwise, why is he so all kissy and lovey with him? God, it's embarrassing. Get a room, why don't you? Oh, you did that already. That's what's on that tape. No, it's not. This says, can't believe you've never heard of Pingu. Definitely one of the best penguins. Best penguin ever. He says, along with whichever penguin is now a Danish lieutenant general. Or is it lieutenant? I think we've got a lieutenant, haven't we? Who knows what the Danish have got, but I'm going to go with the left. A penguin is now a Danish Lieutenant General at Edinburgh Zoo. Not a joke. Well, I find that hard to believe. A penguin, I'm going to ask this machine using my mouth. Penguin, Edinburgh Zoo, Danish Lieutenant General. Who is the penguin officer in the Edinburgh Zoo? The penguin is named Niels Olav in honour of Niels Egeline, a commander of the drill platoon, and Olaf Zigerud, contingent commander of HMKG in 1972. What has this got to do with penguins? Nobody has any idea, and, more to the point, nobody cares.
Correct.
0345 6060 973. Let's have our first call from a person in Kent called Martin. Martin.
Hello, hi.
Yes,
Hi there.
Martin.
How are
Hello there.
You're going to be talking about Trump this evening.
Well, I have done already. I don't know whether I will continue to be doing so.
I just called to
say you love
me. I do. I really do. But I just want to put a little bit of frame of context into...
Worst Stevie Wonder song ever, by the way. I mean, is there a worse Stevie... There's not a duet. Is there a worse Stevie Wonder song than Just Called to Say I Love You? No.
I can't think of one at the moment.
No, neither can I. I mean, that one that he did with Michael Jackson was just abysmal. The one that he did with Paul McCartney... Oh, no. Ugh. Painful. But I Just Called to Say I Love You. Stevie, think it out again. Anyway. Yes, Martin.
But yeah, I think you've led the shows. You were called because you said you were going to be talking about some of the decisions that Trump has been making.
Oh, I didn't say anything of the sort.
Oh, maybe
I just launched into it. I didn't say that this is what I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future. Okay. I just opened my mouth and it all just vomited out.
Oh, well, fair enough. Well, okay. I'll go with that then. I think whenever we talk about the details of anything that he is doing as president, I think it's really useful to remember
that he's a president.
Yeah, he's the president, and I have been aware of him since the 90s, and he was kind of like a comedy figure. You know, we knew he was this rich New York person.
Well, he said he was. Whether he actually was or not, we don't know. I mean, he also said he was a great businessman, and he is verifiably a terrible businessman, could be the worst businessman ever in history.
Yeah, I mean, he bankrupted his own casino, I believe.
How can you not make money running a casino? You'd think it would be impossible. He managed to find a way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's certain things that are facts and certain things that are alleged, so I'll be careful with my words. There is allegations that in his early years he was involved in mafia activity.
Absolutely.
I'm not stating that as fact. I'm saying that is what is suggested.
Yeah.
It is a fact that he has been convicted on 34 felony charges.
Yes.
He has been found civilly liable of rape. The person who ghost wrote his book has said that he deeply regrets writing that book.
Yeah.
And I don't think...
So do all of the people, everybody who went to jail after having worked for him deeply regrets having entered his orbit. Yeah, all of those people. Everybody that didn't go to jail is waving their arms frantically in the air, telling us to run away.
Yeah, I'd be genuinely pleased to talk to someone or even just hear from someone who says, do you know what, I'm really glad I met Donald Trump.
Well, let's hear the word from somebody who's been very, very close to him. What do you think, Melania?
I don't care.
Yeah, she's not that bothered one way or the other, really. I mean, the prenup's great, and she'll be set for life and all, but, just as long as he doesn't get anywhere near her. She's got that that anti-Donald hat that she'll whip out at a moment's notice.
Yeah, the point I'm making is...
Oh, there's a point. A point, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to reach it any moment now. Yes.
all the decisions he makes, you have to think about all of this background that he has.
Yeah.
And you've got to think,
why?
What does he want?
Money,
And
money,
what
money.
is he trying to do?
Money. He wants money and he's trying to get more money.
Really, it can't be good for anybody.
No, at all.
Okay, so
Even him.
I'm obviously not going to get into the complications of global affairs.
Well, not on this show.
I'm just thinking...
Complications of global affairs.
Boring!
Not on this show, no. Call me tomorrow.
He's just... he's not the right man.
No, for anything. No, he's not the right man to judge a Miss America Teen Beauty Contest pageant, and he's not the right person to run the world in any way, shape or form. No. I wouldn't get him to run my bath. I wouldn't leave my dog in his company.
No, I mean... It's you joke about that, but
no,
I literally
I'm not
wouldn't.
joking. Yeah, I would not leave my dog in his company. First of all, he'd say, that's not your dog, that's my dog. And then he'd say...
My dog's been taken.
Yeah, it's dead. Sorry about that. All right, thanks a lot, Martin. I'm pretty sure that we got to the point. I can't be absolutely certain, but I'm pretty sure that we eventually reached a point. This says, do you remember Supermarket Sweep, where people race each other around a supermarket grabbing things? Yes. Why are you asking me that? What are you asking me that for? Yeah, I remember Supermarket Sweep, where people race each other around a supermarket grabbing things. Why is that so hard to say? I fell over that sentence twice. Shall I try it one more time?
No.
Do you remember Supermarket Sweep, where people race each other around a supermarket grabbing things? Finally. Third time's a charm. Yes. How many more times do I have to say it? Yes, 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 I do. What about it? 0345 6060 973. Let's have Heston. Isaac.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, Isaac.
Right. While I remember, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
4 things. Let's speed through them, yeah?
Couple of 3 things.
Okay. And they are Roy Ayers.
Mm-hmm. Everybody loves the sunshine. Do-do-do.
Right.
Do-do-do.
Okay. Dow Jones. Okay. Number 3 is, words from the internet. And number 4, the President's Library. Let's go.
Yes. Roy Ayers.
Roy Ayers, yeah. I wanted to phone last week, but I just too tired and I wanted to get to bed. So, Roy Ayers, yes, he started out in the 1960s. I first came across him in 1977 with a track called Running Away. Okay, his most famous and classic one is "Everybody Loves the Sunshine" from 1976.
Is this an obituary?
Well, it's just a tribute.
Okay.
Oh, we'll see.
All right. Roy Ayers.
Shall I move on then?
Still dead, sadly. Yes, move on.
Okay. All right. What's number 2? Yeah.
Can we leave number 2 to the side, and we'll come back to that in a moment, and let's go straight to number 3.
Right. Number 2, Dow Jones, right?
Yeah, so I thought we were going to leave number 2 to one side.
Okay, all right. Then number 3 is words from the internet. Apparently, the current government are trying to erase 26,000 words and websites from the internet. And one of the words
our government. Wait a minute, our government?
No, the US government.
Right, the US government.
Yeah. And one of the words is the word gay.
Yes.
Right.
Mm.
Now,
are you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me about the Enola Gay?
That's right. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back to number. Let's go back to number 2.
Number 2 is the Dow Jones. It's right. Since the Trump administration has taken over, it's plunged 890 points, plus a further 537.
Right.
So the stock market is in trouble.
That's called winning.
Going down. Okay, fair enough. And the fourth one
yes.
is the
and finally, yeah.
Yeah, the president's library. Okay, every president is allowed to create a library.
Yeah, his will be in a branch of Hooters. Your topless waitress will show you to your table.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot, Isaac.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Hello, everyone.
Martin in Beckenham says, Nick, do you agree that the world has gone mad? Absolutely. Yes, I do. How about you, Liz?
Absolutely.
Liz does too. How about you, George W.?
Absolutely.
Yes, he does too. Don Donny?
Absolutely.
Martin in Beckham says, do you agree with me that the world has gone mad? I just passed an art gallery that has a private viewing of people wandering about drinking wine, and the central exhibit was a random wheelbarrow with a garden rake stuck in it. It's a masterpiece. I'll give you £1 million, £2 million, £3 million, £5 million. That's my final offer. All right, 6. I just clicked on an advert for a top London auction house because I was curious, because they had a picture that I recognised on the front there where it was Francis Bacon. And I was just curious about how much money is being spent on art these days. And as far as I could tell, everything in their sale was sold. And people are spending tens of millions of pounds on paintings and sculpture. And it wasn't just one and everything else was cheap. It was, this painting went for £3.4 million and the next painting went for £5.6 million and this painting went for £8.3 million. And who are these people that have got so much money that they literally don't know what to do with it? I mean, how much would you have in your life before you can spend £8 million on a small picture to put on your wall? Staggering. While the rest of us are barely able to turn the heating on for fear of what the bill's going to be. Something has gone seriously wrong with the world. And if you want to know why you don't have any money, it's because people have got so much money that they're spending £10 million on decoration. Because that's what it is. Oh, that'll look nice with the sofa on the boat. Casey in Bangor says, listening to the show while playing the video game Euro Truck Simulator. What? There's a video game in which you are a truck driver. You're joking. Anyway, says, listening to the show while... These are messages from last night, by the way. Listening to the show while playing the video game Euro Truck Simulator. And my girlfriend keeps asking me why I am doing Donald Trump and Anne Widdecombe impressions while pretending to drive a truck. First time listening to LBC, and the experience so far has been the talk of the bedroom. The talk of the bedroom for the night. It's not always like this, Casey. In fact, it's almost never like this. 0345 6060 973. Paddington. Hello, Richard.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to defend Donald Trump.
Good luck.
Right, here we go. Right, I'm a bit of an American Mafia nerd. And Sammy the Bull Gravano was John Gotti's second man, and he was involved in construction and labour unions, and he adamantly says he never had any connection with Donald Trump. Also, a guy called Michael Francesi says that he never had any connection.
So your sources are people that were in the mafia?
Yes, and they said, Sammy the Bull, wait for this, Sammy the Bull said, if you want me to lie, I'll lie. But
right.
I can tell you I didn't. However, as your glamorous assistant has just reminded me, there's a film called The Apprentice, and his mentor was Roy Cohen.
Cohen, yeah.
And Roy Cohen was a horrible individual.
he was involved in the Reds Under the Bed. He released a book in 1954. Listen to this title. Only a Miracle Can Save America from the Red Conspiracy. Does that sound familiar to you?
No.
Well, okay, well, I'm saying it's cut to today, and it's a bit, Trumpian, is it not?
Is this you defending Donald Trump?
I'm only defending him, saying that the mafia said they didn't have nothing to do with him.
Oh, well, I believe them.
Yeah, so here you go. just at that one point. On everything else...
Yeah.
On everything else. Fella,
guilty. Right.
But I'll give him that. I'll just give him that one.
Right, okay. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Richard. As soon as you uncover, another unimpeachable source, I want you to let me know straight away. All right. Craig in Rochford says, Dream On, a sitcom series starring Brian Ben. So great they named him twice. Is available to watch via streaming. Yeah, I mentioned this in passing last night. Every now and then there's a TV show I think, I wonder why that's not on. Like, I wonder why Laurel and Hardy isn't on permanently. I wonder why Tom and Jerry isn't on all the time. Why is there not a 24 hours a day Tom and Jerry channel? There's all this classic stuff that must be better than whatever is on TV at the moment. And it's just sitting there, unwatched, collecting dust. I think that's a bit wrong, isn't it? It were grand when I were a lad. There was nothing to watch, and there was nothing to watch on. But now there's no end of places to see stuff, and you still can't blooming well see it. You know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
0345 6060 973. Merthyr Tydfil, hello, Jeff.
How are you, Nick? You're a little bit frisky tonight. I thought you were
frisky.
We were interrupting.
Frisky.
Caller?
Frisky, right.
Frisky. Just wonder what you're on, that's all.
Tea and an apple. I am out of my mind. Is the sound of my brain right now.
Okay. Well, as usual, I'm phoning up to plumb the depths of the erudition that you've always comforted me with and provided me with great solace.
Right, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's a lot of syllables,
well,
just making noise now. It's a lot of noise and numbers signifying nothing.
See, I told you were frisky. The thing is, I watched the rugby today.
Yeah, never mind about that. Have you seen the price of a random wheelbarrow with a garden rake stuck in it? £8.3 million.
What? You're not helping.
Right.
We lost it. The Welsh team lost by over 60 points to the English team.
Wait, which game is this?
Rugby.
Oh,
and
rugby.
It was
boring.
Rugby. Do me a favour. There's a bunch of steroidal freaks running into each other. How is that even a game?
Well, this is why I'm asking you. The thing is, it was watched by
6
William
people.
and Catherine.
Oh, 2 people.
The Prince of Wales.
Yeah.
And the Princess of Wales.
Right.
But the Princess of Wales...
She's not my Princess of Wales. That will always be Di. Yeah, not my princess.
But she's not mine as well.
Right.
The thing is, she's the patron saint of the English team, and William is the patron saint of the Welsh team.
And what exactly do they do for that title?
I've no idea, but they sit there and they worship.
They get free tickets, essentially. The best seats in the house. Yeah, can I have that job?
So, what my question to you is, this.
Yes.
Obviously, one of them was very pleased with the result, and the other would be very disappointed with the result.
Right. Well, you can't tell whether Kate is pleased or disappointed because she's always got that 1,000,000-watt smile on, which is why people like her. She doesn't say anything. I bet if I played 10 female voices and included hers in it, I bet there's not a single person in this audience who would be able to pick her out. You've got no idea what she sounds like because she's never said anything, and that's why people love her. She's just just like a doll, essentially. That's what people want. Meghan, on the other hand...
Disgusting.
Not doll-like at all. Actual real human being.
Okay, well, I'll go along with everything you say, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted some guidance, that's all.
Guidance.
Who do I support? Who's my prince or princess or whatever they do? Do they just wave? Do they don't say anything? They just wave at me.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I'm confused. I'm bewildered.
Waving and not saying anything is the job. The moment you say anything, then almost the entirety of the nation puts its hanky to its forehead and does a Victorian fainting fit.
I clutch my pearls.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, if only I had any, I'd be clutching them too. Can I come over and clutch yours, Jeff?
Yes, in the goose and cuckoo.
Okay, I'll give you a goose in the cuckoo. That sounds good. Thanks a lot, mate.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hello, everyone.
I think I played that one. Oh, never mind, eh? Craig in Rochford says, no, I read that. This says, hi, Nick, we should just blame Meghan Markle for everything that is wrong in the world. It'll make life easier for everybody. Thanks a lot. Yeah, save a lot of time as well. Christina says, my nephew, a 38-year-old landscape gardener, is convinced that the Donald puts creosote on his face and the creosote is eating into his brain. My nephew is only half joking.
Don't be rude.
He also, I heard, puts it in his hair.
You don't need to put all of that product in your hair. You just don't.
Yeah, Liz knows, don't you, Liz? Wimborne, Dorset. Hello, Liz.
Hello. Hi, Nick. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
I didn't want to talk about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I've had enough of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So I'd rather talk about earthworms.
Ah. Is this you talking about earthworms?
Well, yes. I was just wondering what your reaction was. Yes. My mum watched a television programme that said there were two kinds of earthworms.
Yeah, dead ones and live ones.
No, ones that just go up and down.
Huh?
And ones that just go from side to side. But I've been thinking about this because the ones that just go up and down, right, say they're going up, right? They get to the grass, but then what do? They can't do anything else.
Yeah, when they were up, and when they were down, they were down.
And they would never meet another earthworm because the other up and down earthworms would also be going up parallel.
Where do they come up from?
I don't know.
And how do they get to where they come up from, other than by going down? But
and how do they know? They just go up and down. I mean,
well, they know.
They know.
Oh, they know. All right.
And the ones that go side to side, right, would go along eating whatever it is they eat. But then they just keep going.
Small mammals, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. They'll probably eat you if you lie still long enough.
They probably would. But it doesn't make any sense.
What doesn't? Anything that's happened on this station in the last 35 minutes. Yeah, I know.
It doesn't make any sense that there's only ones that go up and down and only ones that go side to side.
And where did she receive this information?
She saw it on the television.
What programme?
I don't know. Should I ask? I should probably ask her.
Because if it was a television programme for children and the worms that they were talking about were puppets, then that's one thing. But if it was if it was a factual programme about worms, then I have two questions. One, where do the ones go from to get down to where they come up from? Yeah. And two, why would anybody want to watch a TV programme about worms?
I think it was incidentally about. I don't think it was completely based around worms.
The rest of it was a cooking show?
No, I think they were talking probably about...
Is it Meghan Markle's wellness programme?
No, I think they moved on, to Beatles or something.
Right.
But in passing,
Yeah. I'd rather watch a programme about the Beatles.
Personally. The Beatles, yeah. So would I. definitely.
Why isn't there a band called The Worms?
Maybe there was. I don't know.
Never heard of a band called The Worms, but I've heard of a band called The Beatles.
Is it because it has medical implications, you know? Maybe people don't want to draw that comparison.
Oh, really? We were doing so well, Liz.
This is why I said earthworms at the beginning.
Right, okay.
Specifically,
yeah.
to put us in the soil, you know.
I did not know that. This is an educational program, no?
No.
Well...
They go up and down or side to side. But are they, like, multi-skilled? Can an up and down worm also go side to side?
Well,
or
not according to this programme, no. You either go... And also, the up and down ones could only go up or down because they can't turn around to change direction. So once they've gone up, that's it.
Well, that's it?
Yeah, I mean, where are they going to go?
Well, yeah, where are they going to go? How can they... If they don't go side to side, if they've reached the top and they had to stop, well, that's what's bothering me. Oh, Ooby-Doo, sing!
Sing, yeah, exactly.
Well, you're giving us a lot to think about, Liz.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers, my dear. No, I have no idea either. Dave in Biggin Hill says, Nick, I noticed President Trump was claiming credit for sending a rocket to recover the 2 stranded astronauts. As he appears desperate for attention, I did a personal best in the park run this morning, and I'd like to thank him for sorting that out for me. Tees in Acton says, Nick, have a look at Trump being hit in the face with a microphone. It'll make your day. I can't stop laughing. Yeah. Yeah, I did see that, yeah. He got hit in the head with a microphone. Yeah, made me laugh.
Like to punch him in the face.
Exactly. This text says, when you say Greenland is now to be known as Trumpland by way of executive order, I genuinely can't tell if you're joking or not. It's got ridiculous, really. And the people of Greenland are very upset, as are the people of Canada and Panama and Mexico and you name it. We'll be next. Betcha, 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 betcha. Skier isn't going to get us out of this one. Doesn't matter how often he crawls across the carpet and kisses his ring. In response to President Donald Trump's threat to dispatch soldiers to annex the island of Greenland, Greenland's Prime Minister has declared enough is enough. He's drawing a line in the ice. Says, right, that's it. Stop fooling around, you painted clown. This isn't a game you can win by tipping the pieces on the floor and stomping out of the room.
Oh, shut up!
Greenland's Prime Minister didn't say. He said the US President has once again aired the thought of annexing us. Enough is enough. Jens Friedrich Nielsen, who will be the next Prime Minister of his Democratic Party, won Greenland's parliamentary election on Tuesday, also turned on Trump. He said Trump's statement from the US is inappropriate and just shows once again that we must stand together in such situations. Yeah, the rest of the world has got to stand together against this painted clown. He wants to divide us up and thereby conquer the lot of us. If we stand together, we're stronger. On Thursday, Trump reiterated the United States needs Greenland for national security purposes, and he's indicated he's willing to send in American troops to take control of the island. Good grief. This guy's off his nut. And when he says national security purposes, he means... He said, I think it'll happen, Trump said, of the annexing of Greenland during his Oval Office meeting with the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte.
What?
Yeah, he said that. Next to the NATO Secretary General. He said, we got a couple of bases on Greenland already, and we have quite a few soldiers. Maybe you will see more and more soldiers go there, he threatened. We have bases and we have quite a few soldiers on Greenland. Typical mafia shakedown from the diaper Don.
Absolutely.
I I mean, it's not the first time that Trump has mulled using military force to take control of a territory he wants to add to the American map. In January, after he was elected, but before the inauguration, Trump said that he was willing to use force on both Greenland and Panama and Mexico and Canada. He wants to invade all of those countries in order to bring peace. And there's already people freaking out on Greenland that Trump could take the island by force. I think most of us have been scared since the new year because of Trump's interest, a member of the Parliament of Greenland said. So we're really, really looking to Europe right now to see if we could establish a stronger bond with them to secure our sovereign nation. Canada wants to join the EU. Greenland wants to join the EU. Sounds like a popular place. The kind of place you'd have to be some sort of idiot to want to leave.
I'm a nutcase.
0345 6060 973. Thoughts and prayers for Nigel Farage, by the way. He's, come up against a problem. Or 2, or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thoughts and prayers. Bridgend, hello, Bo.
Hiya, Nick. Nick, you're down in Wales tonight, more than our shadow Tory minister, someone called Mims Davis, who's from a constituent I've never heard of.
Oh, yeah? You've never heard of the constituent? Really?
Do you know where she's from? Well,
no.
Can you tell me that?
I couldn't even pronounce it, and I know I couldn't spell it.
Right. Trudeau, I mean, Trudeau, the guy who everyone would, I think my sister, my wife would marry him, but...
Yes.
Right, Mark Carney, different proposition.
Yes.
Different proposition. So we got a blonde peroxide muppet against an intelligent man. Can you guess the winner?
The blonde peroxide muppet.
Yeah. Do you want some information, inside information?
Yes, I do.
Margaret Thatcher's looking down. So I'm in the man cave with my picture of Margaret. Right.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Back up. Describe the picture of Margaret Thatcher that you have on your wall in your man cave. What's she wearing?
A blue trouser suit. I can't see the bottom half. Probably wise. She's higher up than me, and
some sort of jacket with big shoulders.
Oh, it's blue. Well, obviously it's the royal blue. Very smart. Very smart.
Is her hair sort of the same shape as a motorcycle helmet?
It is, yeah, it is. It looks like as a child, I used to put a bowl on her head in the hairdressers and cut around it.
It looks like
with a lot of hair lacquer.
It looks like somebody's forgotten to take off the bowl.
With a lot of hair lacquer. Yeah. Do you want? Can I get back to my inside information?
Oh, I've forgotten about that. Yes.
Right. My Canadian friend has said Trudeau. Sorry, Trudeau, not Trudeau. He's gone. Carney has been meeting with the American Farming Union, the Canadian Farming Unions a lot on the quiet. To me, this can only be. It's the tariff thing. Canada supplies a lot of the fertilizers to America, and Carney, if Trump plays these blinking tariff games, Carney is going to hit the fertilizers and then watch the American farmers kick off, because Trudeau will play hardball with Donald Trump, definitely.
Carney, not Trudeau.
Yeah.
Trudeau's
Mark Carney.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark Carney will play.
Yeah, Trudeau is the one that your wife wants to marry. Mark Carney, not so much.
Or you would want your sister to marry, but totally not the man to go up against Trump.
No. Trudeau looks like he would be pointing into the distance and smiling at something off the page in a Grattan catalogue photo shoot. Mark Carney, on the other hand, doesn't.
No, but it's significant he's meeting with the farming unions on the quiet, because when Donald plays his trumps, and I didn't realise how much America relies on Canadian fertilisers and farming, Potash is one.
Potash, right. Do you want to score some potash?
Want to score some pot?
Don't know.
Ash.
What goes into America most, the pot or the ash?
Well, I don't think they get the pot from Canada. I think that has to come from that's probably from the other border. Yeah, comes over the other border. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Bo. Let us know if there's any developments with that whole Margaret Thatcher picture issue. He's got a man cave with a picture of Margaret Thatcher on it. You know, in order to make the beer go down more easily. Message coming in from next door. Lots of weed exports in America come from British Columbia in Canada. How do you know?
I listened to a podcast and they were from British Columbia and they were talking about how one of the largest export in British Columbia to America is weed.
Right. I think that you know a little bit too much about this, and someone in authority should be looking at you very strongly. Ian in Cornwall says, Nick, my grandma left me 2 enamel pudding basins. If war breaks out, you are more than welcome to put one on and join me under the kitchen table. Thanks a lot, Ian. And if war doesn't break out, then I'll use it to cut around if we all get locked in with the next COVID thing, which is apparently just around the corner. Did you hear that story last night about the new mad bat disease? Oh, my God, I can't stand it.
Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbot. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Is he crazy, or is that just the way he acts?
This text says, more to the point, why do callers always refer to your producer and phone people as researchers? Do you have a full set of Encyclopaedia Britannica there from 1968 that they're madly leafing through to burnish you with facts? No, I remain unburnished. I think they call them researchers because they can't think of what else to call them. I mean, they're not producers because that's what I do. I am the producer. They're the phone people. The receptionist. Hello, can I have an outside line, please? You know, that like that.
Can I have an outside line, please?
Thanks, Carol. Paddy in Cheltenham says, did you see the clip of Fibonacci? Oh, that's a good one. Fibonacci. That's what they're calling you now, Donny.
Don't be rude.
Fibonacci. That's priceless. I'm going to add that to my list. One moment, please. I've got quite a list going. I've got the baby tornado, Donito Mussolini, Donito Trumpolini, and Dorito Mussolini, Trumple Thinskin, the Screaming Mimi, the Tangerine Scream, Ancient Orange, Jaffa the Gut, Jesus Trump Superstar, the Powder Puff President, the Peach Powder Puff President, Agolf Twitler, Hairbrained Hairstack, and now Fibonacci. Very, very good. Well, it made me laugh. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yeah, Fibonacci. Did you see the clip of Fibonacci talking to the press prior to boarding Air Force None and getting bonked in the face by a boom mic? Bonked in the face by a boom mic. Yeah. I did see that, yeah. Not hard enough, in my opinion. Let's have York. Hello, Charlie. Charlie? Charlie?
Mr. Abbott.
There you are.
It's Charlie from York.
Yes,
How are
Charlie.
you? I'm enjoying your tongue-in-cheek program.
Thanks.
Now, you've got a convicted felon as leader of the free world.
Yeah.
This is what we've been reduced to in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say, Nick, I do have to agree with a lot of his policies.
Like,
you know, looking after America's interests.
in what way is he doing? In what way is he doing that? That's just the thing that he says.
If you allow me to explain, if you're going to slap tariffs on my country, I'm going to slap tariffs on your country.
Yeah, but what tariffs is he talking about? He thinks that
steel,
he thinks
aluminium.
that he thinks that VAT is a tariff that we are being very mean as to put on the goods that America sends here.
Sorry, could you repeat that, Nick?
No.
I misheard you.
Yeah, he thinks VAT, our VAT, is a tariff on his goods.
VAT?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, the thing is, how come corporations get exemptions for VAT?
Corporations?
Yes.
Which corporations?
Like limited corporations in this country, if you incorporate a company...
Selling what, though?
And your revenue
what
is above
product?
certain...
What product?
Sorry, if you let me finish...
What product do they sell that is... No, well, you're on the wrong track. What product do they sell that is VAT-free, that is not food?
Well, I'm not going to go into the nuances of what are goods that are VAT...
Oh, well, I'm sorry here, Charlie, but we're only interested in nuances on this show. I'm not going to get trolled on my own programme. No, that's what Twitter's for. I'll see you on that. Science St Helen says, Nick, in tonight's sporting news, give a shout out to Widnes Vikings. Part-time team took on a full-time team all the way to the Cup. Well done, Widnes, says Cy in St Helens. I have no idea what you're talking about. John and Pat in Mask by the Sea says, is that right, Nick? Trump is putting a tariff on the current storm because it's coming from Canada's border. Well, I wouldn't be remotely surprised. I'm surprised that he hasn't blamed Ukrainians' space lasers for creating the weather or some other insanity. Or it's Belgium's fault. Belgians know what they've done. Paddy in Cheltenham said, no, read that. This says, Lorna says, just joined you tonight. Did you hear Trump talking about the lady astronaut's hair? Telling people what a good solid head of hair she has and that there's no games to be had with her hair. What a stupid idiot. What a stupid idiot, says Lorna. Lorna, you're on a list. You ain't going to get away with that. You know that, don't you? Don't ever go to America. In fact, don't take a plane ride anywhere, because as soon as you're in the air, he will confiscate that plane with you in it. What a stupid idiot. That's what she said.
Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way.
Don't ever talk to the president that way. He is the president of the... Don't you understand who he is? The president of the United States of America. Don't ever talk to the president that way. It's a total disgrace. Peter says, Nick, worst Stevie Wonder song, Don't Drive Drunk. That's a Stevie Wonder song? Will says there's someone who is really glad they met Donald Trump, but they would say it in Russian. Yeah, they would say it in Russian. Isn't that right, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
This says, could it be possible that Elon has planted a Neuralink chip in Trump's tiny orange brain? Yeah, what's really bizarre is that all the right-wingers who are freaking out about Bill Gates, they were filling the internet with their blithering nonsense about him wanting to put a microchip in your brain by the method of vaccinating you against COVID. Oh, yeah. Didn't you hear about that? Oh, it's definitely a thing. I read it on the internet. Yeah, Bill Gates, he wanted to put a microchip in your brain. And they were invisible, and they were in the COVID vaccine, which is why you shouldn't take the COVID vaccine. You should drink bleach instead. That is what they were saying. And so they were furiously against that totally made-up story about somebody who wants to put a microchip in your brain, but they couldn't feel more positively about Elon Musk, who really does want to put a microchip in your brain, and has done so. I think the whole human race needs to think it out again. Maybe we could turn us all off and on again, see what happens. Somebody should look into that very strongly and with great strength. David in Brighton says, awful storms ripping through the US at present. Apparently it's Biden's fault. Sleepy Joe, yeah. Can't get anything right. And Paul in Manchester says, the world should do a deal with Trump. If he can correctly point to a country on a map, he can have it. He might fluke Gibraltar, but it's worth the risk. Yeah, I'm willing to give up Gibraltar. I mean, what they have given us, eh? 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global. Leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
I'm not a big fan of his brain.
Oh, hello there. Very nice to meet you.
034. Forgotten about him. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, I bet you'd forgotten about him too. Hey, Gavin, we're still not missing you, by the way. This text says, my local pharmacy in Porto Alegre has an armed guard. Any British shoplifters could always come here. The dogs round the back need something to eat. Blimey. Tourists not welcome there. Or anywhere, as a matter of fact. I mean, it seems like anywhere that tourists... Well, maybe it's anywhere that British tourists go. Or perhaps we in this country are only reading the stories about locals abroad complaining about us, because if they were complaining about German tourists, well, our press probably wouldn't be that interested in it. Maybe it's that. Or maybe our reputation precedes us and has, taken root in the minds of the people that we inflict ourselves on. Our wobbly, bare-stomached Britishness, and maybe they just can't stand it anymore. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Because if we leave, then they're stuffed. And if we keep going, then they're stuffed too. So I feel sorry for them. I mean, if your entire economy depends on tourism, then that must be a little irritating. See Cornwall for full details. This text says, I wonder if Trump would put his coloured pencils in the library. I mean, it tells me everything I need to know about Donald Trump, that his desk never has anything on it, apart from a box of child's Sharpie pens. Big pens that you can do his big boy squiggle on the wine menu or whatever it is that they keep handing him in his office. And he's so proud of himself. He's got no idea what he's signing, but he holds it up for the camera anyway. Look, I did another one. I just did another one, he'll say.
And I did 3 of them today.
Mm-hmm.
I did a little one, a little tiny one, and then I did a really big one.
Really big one.
I did a big one, and I'm still raring to go.
Good boy, Donny. Good boy. Call me when you're ready. Camberley. Hello, James.
Hiya.
James.
Yes. I was just going to say, delay.
Is there a delay on this line? Hello?
Hello?
Yes? Hello?
You're on fire. You're on absolute fire. I listened to you last night, but you're on fire tonight, Nick. You might want to lay off the apple and tea and chill out with some coffee.
I think I better, try to relax with some absinthe and a packet of whatever I find on a disco night. Never mind. The moment's gone.
A packet of Camels.
Yes. Not cigarettes, actual Camels. Yes.
You try smoking one of them, you might regret it.
I know, it'd take forever.
I was chatting to your glamorous assistant about music.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there isn't a band called The Worms, but there is a heavy metal band who I can highly recommend you listen to, but I know you don't like homework, so don't worry. But they're called Take a Worm for a Walk Week.
That sounds absolutely... okay, that is now the worst name for a band I've ever heard.
Although I have to comment, I have to give, I doff my cap to your glamorous assistant because he told me another band's name that he's aware of. They're a German, I think he said they're a German heavy metal band, and they're called We Butter Our Bread with Butter.
We buff? B-U-F-F? Am I spelling that?
Buff?
Duff? Duff? That don't make no sense. We buff our bread with butter. And I'm just looking up that band that you said exists, and I'm not sure. Take a Worm for a Walk Week. Hardcore.
Yeah.
Is it hardcore music?
Yeah, it's not hardcore or anything else.
Oh, they've got a CD release from 2008 called The Monroe Transfer.
Yeah.
Not Manhattan Transfer. That's something else entirely. If you want Manhattan Transfer, don't look up Take a Worm for a Walk Week, because you'll be sorely disappointed.
That's it.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're not a bad band.
I bet they are. I bet they are.
I mean, it's got worm in the title.
Well, it does have worm in the title. Yeah, that is true. That is a fact.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll look at it very strongly. How does that sound?
All right. Nice one.
Okay.
Cheers,
Thanks a lot, James. Giving me homework. Can you believe that? This says Levi in Newport says, I've always found the whole Trump bankrupted his own casino as insane. So I finally decided to look into it, and he has actually taken his casino to bankruptcy 6 times. But he counts the first 3 he counts the first 3 bankruptcies as one, says Levi. He is an absolutely abysmal businessman. I really don't know why, other than just blind cult-like loyalty. People keep saying that he's a good businessman, because he absolutely, totally and verifiably isn't. I mean, in a brief 3-hour show, I don't have enough time to list all of his business failures. But here's a few. Trump Taj Mahal. That was a casino, I believe. That went bankrupt. Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino. Bankrupt. Plaza Hotel. Bankrupt. Trump Castle Hotel and Casino. Bankrupt. Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts. Bankrupt. Trump Entertainment Resorts. Bankrupt. Trump Vodka. Failed. Trump Steaks. Failed. Trump Ice. Failed. He couldn't even sell water. Trump Magazine. Closed. Trump Mortgage. Closed. Trump Airlines. He took an airline that had been running for 27 years. He put his name on it, and it closed within 3 years. Trump University closed for fraud. Trump Foundation closed for fraud. Trump Organization fined $355 million for fraud. The Apprentice cancelled. The only thing he's been successful at is conning people into believing that he is a success. And on that, he is brilliant. As a con artist, probably the best I've ever heard of. But people have just got to wake up. I mean, the people are waking up at the moment. And the internet is absolutely full of people who are waking up, who voted for him and can't believe that it's going badly for them, because they voted for him to be cruel to other people. And they're coming to find out that he is not being cruel with a scalpel, he's being cruel with a machine gun. And he's just taken out crowds. And they can't believe that having voted for him doesn't give them some sort of shield-like status, that he will recognise that, they're my fans, so I'm going to be kind to them. And they're realising their mistakes. Too late. Too late. Let's see now. Maidstone. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Nick.
Tony.
3 things.
Yes.
The first one is, I think God may be real. The second one is the thing that you mentioned, idiocracy. And then the third one is contagion. So, I'm assuming that, well, I think God may be real. Do you know why? Because we're going to do the God thing first. Okay, well, you don't want to lead up to God. You're going to dispense with God on the first point. Right, here we go. Look, I think it's a load of old bull, shall we say, regarding. I don't believe in him. You've got my dad, and who is the most unchristian person you can think of. My dad. Hi, Mark, if you're listening. And then you've got Trump, who is definitely the most unchristian person you know. However, currently I've seen the news because I'm trying to cut down on it because it does me head in. And then apparently in the Midwest, it is, oh my God, have you seen a thunderstorm like it? So hopefully, if he or she, sexist, is real, hopefully wipe them all out. Because no, I don't mean that in that sort of way, but it is...
Tony, you're all over the shop. That's weather. What else have you got?
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy, yes. Everybody should take out and rent and watch Idiocracy immediately before it's too late.
I watched it I think he was going on about it, and I thought, oh, God, okay. So I paid £3 blooming 49 to watch it on Amazon Prime, and I thought, I get the message, but I only gave it 20 minutes. I get but I think...
message.
Should I give it longer than that, do you reckon?
I just don't care. It depends on how much £3.49 means to you.
Oh, that can give me a meal deal, I suppose. But, yeah, I got the message, but it made me feel like it was for the 90% of people, like stupid people. But then you've got some... Wait for this. Then I had a friend go, I was listening to Nick Abbott. Oh, yeah. And then he was going, you had us for 2 hours, tenterhooks. And I thought, you're going to talk about an asteroid. Is it 4%? Is it gone down to 3%? And then you mentioned about this new COVID thing.
Yeah, this was last night. I had bad news, and I kept putting it off because I couldn't bring myself to say it. But there's a small story about a potentially huge disease, and we're all going to get thrown back 5 years. God, I can't stand it.
I know. However, if I was to recommend Idiocracy or the film, which has virtually Kate Winslet, yes, excuse me, Matt Damon, definitely yes please, and you've got Gwyneth Paltrow, I highly recommend Contagion.
Yeah, it's not a fun film though. It's not a funny film, and it's not enjoyable, and I don't want to live through that again. No thanks.
Who does?
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks a lot, Tony. The Contagion. No, you want to watch a film where a lot of people die from a contagious disease? Yeah, let me think about that for a second.
No.
No. And I don't want to see a film about Donald Trump either. Oh, my God, he's in my life for practically 24 hours a day. I'm dreaming about the man, for crying out loud. Am I going to sit there and watch a 2-hour film about him? Absolutely. Bob says, the people buying expensive art are all those Tories that got PPE contracts on the fast-track VIP channel to corruption. Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's not like a big news story or anything.
A major capital letters, big news story.
A major capital letters, big news story. Yeah, wouldn't it be? Let's see. Dan in Exeter says, buying art at these amounts are an inheritance tax dodge. They buy the artwork and then they can borrow against the value of the asset. I don't know. I mean, if you can afford £8 million for a picture, then why do you need to borrow against... Why don't you just use the £8 million to buy whatever else it is that you want to buy? I don't buy... I don't buy that. Battersea. Hello, Lisa.
Lisa from where? Which area are we talking about?
Well, which area are you in, Lisa?
What's the area that I'm under? Because you normally read out the area and the name.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised. I've got hold of you. Hello, Nick. How are you?
Are you Lisa from Battersea?
Yes.
Oh, well, then I don't want to speak to you.
Why would you not? Are you an area class or something?
An area what?
Are you prejudiced of areas?
Yeah,
or
but
what?
I'm Battersea phobic. Yeah.
Oh, really? Why? Do you drive down there every day? Yeah.
No, there's no reason to ever go there. I mean, last summer I went to Battersea Power Station twice, and the second time was a mistake because there's nothing to do there. It's just so boring. It's just soulless.
Nice
huh?
There's nice parks down there.
Parks? Oh, well, Battersea Park. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the power station. What they've done to the power station. It's just, they've tried half-heartedly to make it a thing, to make it a destination for people to go, to hang out and have a nice time. But there's it's just soulless. There's nothing there. There's no there.
Yeah, it's a bit of an icon, isn't it? It's a bit of an eyesore. Sorry, not icon. Eyesore.
Well, the building is an icon, and what they've done to the building, I think, is actually quite impressive, because that's a difficult building to put flats in because it had no windows. So they've got to do that. And how do you go about doing that without ruining the is of it? And I think they've done pretty well. But the problem is they've surrounded it with all those hideous blocks of tiny flatlets, these curtains of glass that go all the way around, and you can't really stand back and see the building.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's something we can agree on. I know you drive through Streatham a lot anyway, so that's where I used to be.
Right.
Anyway, do you know what the subject I want to talk to you about today is between the William, Kate, Meghan, Harry, and we could throw in Donald Trump as a mix as well if you want. I don't know if you're okay with that. So my feeling, this is my take on it. I feel, because I listen to you quite a lot, and I've always liked you as a presenter, but there are things that I don't agree with you on, obviously. I do feel you're a bit not fair on the Kate Middleton and William, and I feel you're too much fond of the Harry and Meghan, and I can't understand...
I'm not fond of them. I just like the way they upset the right people.
Like, who is the right people they upset?
The right-wing press, who have a cow on a daily basis about anything that Meghan Markle may or may not have done. They are absolutely obsessed with her. I mean, I could sit here and read out all the headlines about Meghan Markle that are in Mail Online right now, and it would take for the rest of this show.
It would take longer than that, Nick.
True.
You could, yeah.
It's an obsession, and it's unhealthy. But I think that she upsets all of the right people, so I'm on her side. Plus, if she had been treated the way that, if you'd been treated, Lisa, the way that she had by that malfunctioning family, you'd want to leave the country too.
But do you not feel, on being fair on it, do you not feel that the royal family was fair to her? Because I do feel the Queen... In which way? Because I felt the Queen...
Well, the Queen... we got no idea about the Queen because she never really said anything. So, and that's why people love her, is because she was always there, this vision of pastoral loveliness, and she never really said anything. The only thing that anybody remembers that she said was Annus Horribilis, and that's because the Queen said Annus, which made us giggle. That's the only thing that anybody can remember her saying. But everybody thought positively about her. Wills and I don't know. I mean, just smiling and waving, and he, with thousands of rooms at his disposal and land for as far as the eye can see, he wants to do his best to cure homelessness. Well, just open up one of your palaces, mate. Problem solved.
Well, I do agree with you on partly of what you're saying. I do agree they should give up some land or something for the homeless. I agree with you 100% on that. But the point, we could say the same with, like, the other Sussexes. We could say, look, there's problems going on in the world.
Yeah.
Why are they not opening up part of... Why is Meghan not doing marches for people of colour? Why is she not but why is she not going through that, Nick? Why is Harry and Meghan saying about people, they was asking us about not using carbon footprint, and then they were doing it themselves. Do you not feel there's a bit of, like, contradiction and hypocrisy going on there?
Well, if you start looking for hypocrisy, Lisa, you'll find it everywhere you look. And unfortunately, at this moment, I have to run away in order to come back again. Sorry about that.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Everything is going extremely well.
You bet your life it is. Carl Tex from sunny New Zealand. You think virtual truck drivers are weird? My nephew plays a game called Virtual Goat. Yes, you are a goat that does missions, or you can just go around and cause trouble in a virtual world as a goat. The whole world's gone completely insane. This says, "Hi Nick, I was going to download the Euro Truck Simulator and listen to the show too. Pretend I'm living the dream. Sounds relaxing, says Lewis. No, it doesn't. Sounds bizarre. What do you do in a truck driving simulation? You just drive a truck. Is that it? Clitheroe. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Nick. You okay?
Yes, good, thanks.
Oh, good. You sound like on the Facebook group tonight, the Nick Abbot Radio Fans Facebook group. They're all saying that you've had an extra Red Bull today.
I'm starting to flag a bit. I think my tea is wearing off. I'm going to have to go and have another one.
Did you hear this thing that the kids have been with the slush puppies? They've been replacing sugar with something completely different that's been sending all the kids haywire.
What? What are they replacing it with?
I don't know, glycerin or something like that. And
glue?
No, glue. I don't know what it is. It's some stuff, but James O'Brien did a thing on it this week, and
so
the kids are all going crackers.
Right, what do you do with it? You pop it, you snort it, what?
So instead of it being the sugar in the slush puppies that all the kids are having, they're just beating the mums up instead.
Right. Well, that sounds like a plan. If you're a psycho.
Yeah. Well, this is what James O'Brien was telling me anyway. But that's not why I've came on to talk to you tonight. I'm more interested in your thoughts about the soap opera that's been going on all week with Nigel Farage and his Reform Party.
Right, you want me to talk about that now? Or
I want to know what your viewpoint is. Presumably you've been watching it and seeing what's been going on.
I try not to allow Nigel Farage into my life, but every now and again he seems to sneak in, despite my best intentions. What do I think? I think that it's been a pretty rough week for poor Nige, but probably a rougher week for his constituents, who are still in want of his assistance to make their lives better.
Yeah, and actually I was down there last summer, and I was walking through that particular where all the arcades are and everything.
Really?
And you know your thank you?
Yes. It was following you all the way down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the one. I heard, that was the first time I heard it, and I thought, wow, I can't believe Nick's been down here with a tape recorder just for this.
Why were you in Clacton?
Well, we were down in London watching the football, and we were looking for nice things to do in London that didn't involve Buckingham Palace and walking along the River Thames.
Yeah.
So we
So
stuck
you went
a
to
dart in the map.
Clacton?
Well, it was a mistake. That's all I'll say.
You went to Clacton?
It took us about 50 minutes to
as
make
a mistake.
This mistake.
Right.
Yeah. But
what did you do when you went there? What's to do in Clacton? Sizzle it for me, Steve.
No, it was. Well, we had a really good fry up. There was a cafe there run by a lovely Turkish couple, and they did the most brilliant English breakfast. So that was good. And then as we were walking away from there, we walked past the arcade, and that thank you sound effect came out, and I turned around. I'm like, I just had a moment. I'm just like, am I listening to the Nick Abbott show? What's going on?
This show is following you.
Yeah, and that's when I realised where you've got that one from. But, yeah, that's one of the few that people haven't. So you do know there's an army of people out there trying to locate the sources of all of your soundboard clips.
Oh,
there really is.
Well, good luck with that. I don't know where half of these come from myself.
But another thing I wanted to say, you know the carbon-based life forms?
Yes.
So I've been listening to them, and they're very good, and I can see how they kind of bring you down, and just if you've got a bit of stress going on, they can just help you and calm you down a little bit.
It's very, very good stuff. If you want to chill to the maximum, if you want full-on horizontal chilling, then I recommend a band.
Yeah.
I think they're a duo from Finland or Denmark, or one of them countries, one of those happy countries. And it's very difficult to find anything to play after one of their albums that would maintain that level of chill. So I find myself
this
playing.
is where I come in.
I find
This is
myself.
where I
Hang on a
come in.
minute. I find myself playing another one of their albums afterwards because you just can't think of anything else that's that chilled.
I've got somebody to tell you about then. J Joss. So it's JJOS. J Joss, and it's all these your rave sound effect that you play.
Yeah.
Well, all those people who listen to that when they go to Ibiza and Ayia Napa and all the rest of it, when they're relaxing and watching the sunrise, this J Joss does this incredible soundtrack for that kind of mood. Just to you're coming down from a really good evening. And you just relax. Is that the correct phrase?
Yeah, I think so. That's what the kids say. Yeah, that's what. At least that's what they used to say in 1990. Yeah.
So homework: J Joss.
J Joss.
O-S.
Okay, got it. I'll give you some homework back. Global. Oh.
Global player?
No, global. It'll come to me. It's an album with an ear on it, and all the tracks are named after the length of the track. Global. It'll come to me. I'll look it up. Thanks a lot, Steve. Excellent work, that man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There it is again. David in Birmingham says Trump's library will contain adult colouring books, How to Cheat at Golf, the Kama Sutra, and a well-thumbed copy of Fascism for Dummies. Your husband has the Kama Sutra in his library, Melania.
I don't care.
She's really not that bothered. This says there's also a farming simulator, a flight simulator, a train simulator, and a bus driver simulator. Well, I get a flight simulator. I mean, I can understand why that might be fun. But what does a farming simulator do? And does the game come with rubber gloves? Just curious.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
So they opened their big mouths and out came talk. Talk.
Yes, let's talky time with Cumbernauld Andrew.
Hello again, Nick. Good to talk to you again,
Andrew.
Just a couple of things. An alternative nickname for his Trumpness, given his hairstyle and his social media obsession, would be the shredded tweeter. Doesn't quite hit the mark for you?
No, not really, no.
No. Okay, well, the main point is that allegedly Trump's indebtedness to the Russians is down to the fact that he got a lot of his business finance from the Russians in the collapse of the Berlin Wall.
Well, his sons blew the whistle on that because I think both of his idiot sons said that we have got a disproportionately large amount of money in our business from Russia. I think one of his sons said that, and the other said something more or less along the same lines. So, the entire family says the quiet part out loud because... Mostly, I guess, because nothing they've ever said or done has come with any real consequences for them. They just keep getting away with it.
At a time when he shouldn't have touched the old Soviet Union without any size of barge pole, he was over there and visiting them.
Yeah.
And this was at the time when Rutin Putin was a very senior figure in the Soviet intelligence community.
Yeah.
So if he became a useful idiot.
Useful idiot, yes.
Yeah, then obviously Putin would have him on his radar and was very possibly knew him personally, depending on what the setup was.
Yeah.
So that now they're both in a position of power. Presumably Vladimir says, well, unless you want us to make it very clear to the American public just how deep we were with you at a time when it shouldn't have been the case, then we expect a bit of cooperation.
I think it must be more embarrassing than that. Because, I mean, the things that we know about Donald Trump are appalling. And people went ahead and voted for him anyway, twice. So I think that whatever it is, if indeed there is something and he's just not totally unhinged, if Russia does have something on Donald Trump, it must be really bad for him to keep it, to be so desperate to keep it covered up.
And I don't think it'll be sexual, because look at what the American public already know.
Already know, yeah.
In that department, and they still voted for him, so it's not going to be that.
Well, it might be something that is so appalling you don't even want to bring it to the front of your mind, Andrew.
Yeah, it goes beyond the antisocial and maybe into realms of extreme criminality in that department, in which case the mind positively boggles.
Yeah, or it just might be icky.
Yeah, as if what he's already admitted to isn't already icky enough.
Yeah, he's the king of ick.
Yes. And do you think Trump's presidential library colouring book will be extra good because he didn't go over any of the lines with his coloured Sharpies?
That's right. Yeah.
It'll be the same as the W. Bush presidential library, the one book in it.
It'll be the same as when he tried to convince us he's a genuine genius because he passed a mental competency test.
And it was 30 or 35 questions.
Do you want to hear that again?
Oh, again and again, it's television, camera, TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think you got it in order there, Andrew. You get
lose points.
You get extra points if you get it in order.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
Extra points for getting it in order, Andrew. Better luck next time. All right. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, there seems to be something going on there with Root and Toot. By the way, Global Underground, I think you'll find it is. Global Underground. It's a band, and one of my favourite albums of all time is just a picture of an ear on the front of it. It's sort of a very pale, greyish cover with an ear, and I think it's called something like 7412 because it lasts for 74 minutes, 12 seconds, and each track is only named after how long it is. But if you need something that's even more chilled than a carbon-based life form album, then Global Underground. That'll sort you out. Britain has been cast as public enemy number one in Russia, with furious rhetoric against London ramping up at the same time that experts have warned that Putin could attack the UK. Hey, experts, wake up. He's already attacked the UK. He's doing it all the time. He interfered with our elections and the Brexit vote to the extent that the Tory government at the time refused to look for evidence because they were afraid of what would come out. Ain't that right, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Russia's intelligence agency labelled Britain a warmonger. Us! You believe that? They said we were perfidious Albion, while top Kremlin officials blamed Skier and his government for trying to derail Donald Trump's efforts to give Vladimir Putin whatever he wants. And I looked up what Russian for perfidious Albion is. I was curious. Assuming that they wouldn't have any word that directly translates as perfidious. I've done homework. Can you believe that?
No.
Yeah, and it came up with not perfidious, insidious, which is close, but no cigar. I mean, they're almost spelled the same, but insidious means proceeding in a subtle, slow way with harmful effects, and perfidious means deceitful and untrustworthy. So the bad news is we're going to go to war with Russia over a spelling mistake.
Oh,
no. Yeah, but until the hot war that the papers are promising us every day kicks off, you know, they're printing survival guides and instructions on how to rebuild the society from scratch. There's a diplomatic war being waged, with Moscow expelling a British embassy official and the spouse of another diplomat after accusing them of spying because, we would never do anything as bad as spying. Not the British way. Somebody from MI6 told me that. Britain's now regarded as Russia's main foe. And Russian officials described to Reuters how Moscow is said to be fuming that London is stoking chaos and war in Ukraine.
What?
We are stoking chaos and war in Ukraine. Is this real life or am I hallucinating? I mean, nothing makes sense anymore. Russian politicians were infuriated with Skier's talk this month of putting British boots on the ground and planes in the air in Ukraine as part of a peacekeeping force. They vowed revenge. for Kyiv's use of UK weapons during the 3-year war. How dare Ukraine defend itself? They should just stand there and take it, like nice Uncle Vladimir wants them to. A pro-Putin lawyer and former military commander told Russian state TV in January, if today Britain is hitting our territory with its missiles from Ukraine, I consider this a good reason for Britain to cease to exist. What? Oh, yeah. Big talk, Mr. so-called pro-Putin lawmaker, if that is indeed what you are. We've got nukes up to our eyeballs, don't forget. I mean, they're on submarines that probably won't work because they sprang a leak and their escort ships are broken down. And, you know, when it comes to it, when the launch codes are sent, they'll probably go straight to our junk file and they'll probably be the wrong codes anyway because Doreen, who keeps the codes, is off sick. And even if they did arrive and some rating bashes his hand down on the big green button marked go, the nukes would more likely blow our own submarine up and fly off to Moscow. But apart from that, we are armed and dangerous. Who do you think you're kidding, Mr. Putin? If you think we're on the run, we are the boys who will stop your little game. We're the boys who will make you think again. And Vladimir Putin wore military fatigues during a visit to a command post in Kursk this week, thereby upping the dictator chic stakes. And any day now, Donald Trump will have a special military outfit made to accommodate his lithe physique. That's on my bingo card. It's getting very full at the moment with all of the things that I'm predicting that Donald Trump will do. Have they had a nationally televised execution yet? Not yet. They will, but not yet. 0345 6060 973. Let's see now. Derby. Simon.
From Derby.
Yes,
Evening,
Simon.
Nick.
Simon.
Three and a half things.
Okay, go ahead.
First one, long-running... Ooh, what was that series named? Ellen DeGeneres' wife. Portia de Rossi.
Portia de Rossi.
2009.
Right. Yeah.
It's called Better Off Ted.
Yeah, I think that's right. She played this brilliant company executive, this sort of emotionless robot company executive. It was actually very good.
I've not seen it, but I just, used the computer for it.
Oh, computers, right. I should get me one of those.
Second thing is about Trump's casinos. A little bit more depth to the story of how bad he is.
Yeah.
He built this huge one called the Taj Mahal, and I don't know the name of the town. It was where, the Boardwalk Empire, the series.
Isn't it Atlantic City?
Atlantic City, that's where it was. There was already casinos there.
Yeah.
He built this great big one called Taj Mahal, spent a fortune on it, and when it was not doing very well, he doubled down and he put the other ones out of business and bought them up. And then all three of them went bust.
Wow.
And everyone in Atlantic City hates Donald Trump because it was the biggest jobs in the whole city was at the casinos, and he just sent the whole lot down the pan. So it's actually quite a lot worse than it sounds. Him, joking that he managed to bust multiple casinos.
Right.
He linked them all together and then blew the lot.
Blew the lot of them, right.
Yeah.
Good work, Donny. Excellent. Just exactly as we would have expected from you.
And now the next one is another one about his one of the many after effects of his stupid things he keeps doing, the DEI thing. Arlington Cemetery. 400,000 people are buried there.
Yeah.
And on their website, it's got lots of facts about the people, the heroes who died.
Yes.
Because of DEI, they've ripped out all the ones for anything to do with black people or
women.
minorities or women, women and whatever.
Because facts are woke.
Yeah, it's all gone. Yeah, and the interesting thing is about if you look at the American Army now, it's the not more than the Army and Air Force a lot together. There's 2 million people in the Army, 30% are black, and 18% are Hispanic.
So
How
when
do you
he
think that's going to go down with them?
well, I don't know. I wonder what they'll do when he orders them to shoot into crowds of people protesting the presidency of Donald Trump. Because I bet that's coming before the end of the year.
Well, yeah, good question. He's not going about it the right way, is he?
Well, I think that one of the reasons that he let his January the 6th insurrectionists go is because I bet he thought that they were going to be his personal army.
He's not going about it the right way, is he? My little half at the end is when you're talking about Russia and them saying they're going to strike back.
Yeah.
This is just sort of a little, thing to think about. The big tanker in the North Sea last week that blew up when that ship rammed into it.
Yeah.
The ship being piloted by a Russian captain with 5 members of crew on board with Russian. That thing that made it blow up, all that jet fuel it had on, was American forces jet fuel that was ignited.
Coming from Russia?
Did you know that? No, it's made in Scotland and it goes over to, I think it's Denmark, and then it's transported into Europe to all the bases. It's aircraft fuel, jet fuel.
And it was being transported on a Russian ship?
No, it's transported all the time, up and down, but there's the ship that hit it that made it blow up. That ship was piloted by... He's been arrested and he's been charged.
Right. Well, we're charged, then we can't say another single solitary word about it. But thanks for bringing that to my attention, Simon. Yeah, materials on the Arlington National Cemetery website highlighting the graves of black and female service members have vanished as the Trump administration purges government websites of references to diversity and inclusion. Among the obscured pages were cemetery guides focused on black soldiers, women's military service, and Civil War veterans. A part of the site devoted to segregation and civil rights was scrubbed. Representative Adam Smith of Washington, the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, said he cast the website changes as part of a broader effort by the Trump administration to erase the accomplishments of women and people of color. They didn't do anything for us. He said the Defense Department seemed to be focused on fighting cultural fights day in, day out, and that its approach of being directly hostile to any kind of diversity would damage recruiting. Yeah, that's right. You bet it would. You want to push away people of colour from joining the military? Well, best of luck with your future wartime engagements. That's it, though, isn't it? All of this stuff, it's difficult now to kind of pick apart what is distraction, just plain ordinary waving their hand in front of your face while they pick your pocket, and what they're actually proposing to go through with. Because unless he is completely insane, he's not going to invade Canada. Neither will he take over Greenland. So I'm going to put that in the let's hope he's not insane, it's probably just distraction file. And the constant going on about trans issues and diversity and equality and all of that stuff, and that's just, I think it's distraction, but it also has the benefit of being cruel to minorities. And so the people that voted for Donald Trump will feel positive about that, even though the price of absolutely everything is going through the roof and consumers are feeling very bad about the future, and so are businesses, and the stock market is down, and you can't get an egg for love nor money and all of that stuff. Their lives are being ruined, but at least other people are having a worse time than them. I think that is that's called playing to the base. The dinglings who voted for him, the ones whose lives haven't been ruined yet, are going to feel positively about the catastrophe that is unfolding around them because other people will be having a worse time than them. And that's where we are. What a great time to be alive, eh?
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
This is absolute tosh.
Thanks, Nige. You're the best. Sorry about the week you've been having. Very, very sorry about the week you've been having. Thoughts and prayers. Anthony says, mega rich people often buy works of art for several million. Anthony says, Nick, mega-rich people often buy works of art for several millions because it's a store of value like buying gold. Yeah, I know that. They're diversifying their assets. He says it's a hedge against inflation. They can sell the art in the future and get the money back, plus the appreciation. There's Anthony telling us how buying things work. Sue says, I was thinking maybe good will come from the import duties battle. Well, like what? Oh, read on and find out. There's more. China said today, China, that they're going to make China great again and increase their agriculture rather than import from the US. If countries are more self-sufficient and go along with making all their own countries great, then it could save the planet maybe, less carbon footprint. What do you think? Says Sue. I think it's a bad idea for the following reason. People diversify based on the skills that they personally have. I mean, if we were a jack of all trades, then we wouldn't really be very good at anything that we do, and we would be living in among a DIY nightmare. We're not plumbers, we're not carpenters, we're not electricians, we're not plasterers, we're not roofers, we're none of those things. I mean, if it was absolutely essential and nobody else was available and it was an emergency, then we probably could patch a hole in the roof, but it would probably leak within a day, and we might be able to try our hand at doing the electrics by reading off the internet what it is that we're supposed to do, but you wouldn't feel comfortable turning a light switch on. What we do is we specialise, and by that method we get excellent results at a cheaper cost. And it's the same with countries. Some countries are good with manufacturing. Some countries are good with the financial finagling racket. They would be Germany and us in that order. And so we get Germany to make our toasters, and we hide German billionaires' money from the German taxman. You know, it's a fair trade. And it would seem to be a shame if every country then had to rein itself in and pull in all of its tentacles and then do everything at once. I mean, if we just ate the food that we make here, we'd be eating turnips and Swedes all year long. Anybody want to do that?
No.
No one does. I mean, what would we have for dinner if we could only eat food that came from here? We'd get strawberries for a couple of weeks a year. There would be no bananas, no oranges. You get no nectarines, there's no peaches. We could probably get broccoli. Tomatoes wouldn't last very long, a couple of weeks. You know, it'd be blooming awful. It'd be like going back to the 1940s. So different countries specialise in doing different things, and then we trade based on their speciality. You make us a phone, and we'll sell you a rocket that goes boom in the sky and kills a lot of people. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So, you know, it just seems like a retrograde step to me, but what do I know? Sandbach, hello, John.
There's so much you've just been talking about. The Meghan Markle thing.
Yeah, sorry, I had a mouthful of tea. I couldn't. I could only. My only option there was to gargle or spit it out all over the table.
I'm sorry about that.
No, well, it's not your fault.
Yeah, that Meghan Markle thing.
Yeah.
A lot of it, we know the press is racist in this country. That's true by the Daily Mail.
Yeah, but I wouldn't single them out necessarily. I would say that everybody is. It's a human survival mechanism to feel discomforted by anyone who is not exactly like we are. So our initial reaction is fear. It's just that this sort of thin veneer of civilization that we paint over ourselves determines how we react to that fear.
I feel sorry for Meghan Markle. I feel sorry for Harry. He's a good bloke, and he wants to do good.
Yeah, he seems a fairly decent sort, yeah. But I wouldn't spend much of my day feeling sorry for him, John. I mean, they're doing all right.
No, he's worth a few quid, all right.
Yeah.
But he set up the Invictus Games and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, yes, precisely right. I think he gets a pass for everything that people might have a problem with, just for that.
And she's Netflix program.
Yeah, she's the Netflix queen.
Netflix queen. So she's not doing not a lot wrong.
Not a lot wrong, no. Thanks for that, John. Sorry I took you right up against the news there. Apologies for that. 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Is he crazy, or is that just the way he acts? I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
Jerry says, if I bought a painting for £10 million, I would then need to go to a cheap shop to buy a throw to put over it to stop it getting dust all over it. Do you think I'm mad, or is it just the rest of the world? Well, I think that's what people who buy a painting for £10 million do, essentially. They do the rich person's version of that, which is put it in a bank vault and never look at it. What's the point of that? This text says, Nick, are you safe to eat an apple? You've had some apple go down the wrong way a few times recently. We don't want to lose you live on the air to a fruit-related incident. And Keith texts, dogs in pubs, please stop it. I was in a pub a few weeks ago and a couple sat at a table. They had their plates of food delivered plus a sausage on a plate for their best friend. They ate, their dog ate a sausage on a plate on the floor. This must stop immediately. Meanwhile, a couple of degenerates sat a few tables away vaping. Vaping is not illegal in pubs, says Keith. I thought it was. I didn't think you could vape indoors, or is that something that Skier was thinking about doing but didn't actually get around to? Or maybe it was Fishy Rishi.
This government.
Still not missing you, Rishi. Whatever it is you're doing now. In your super luxury cashmere cloud. Ian in Cornwall says, rugby. My father was a rugby referee. He was a bit paranoid. He had to give it up because when the men got into a scrum, he used to think they were talking about him. Bath. Hello, Laura.
Isn't he lovely? Hello, Nick.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad one too. Yeah. I mean...
Oh, you were so giddy earlier. You've got all serious again. I should have called you earlier.
That was a pretty bad track too. Isn't she lovely? I mean, that is a stain on one of the greatest albums ever released. It was so great that he couldn't release it as a double album. It had to be a double album and then a 4-track 7-inch inside. He had so much music coming out of him.
That sounds a bit naughty, but anyway, do you know that track had, if you listen to the full version, had the baby crying?
Laura, only for you does it sound naughty. God, get your mind out of the gutter. Good grief.
Well, he's got his baby crying at the start of it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not a mum, okay? So fair play to Mal, but I don't want to hear a baby crying when I put the radio on.
No, exactly right.
I mean, I'd want my money back. You know?
It's a baby in a bath as well. I think that baby's getting bathed.
Oh, no wonder it sounds so distressed at the beginning. and then his dad standing there going, "Isn't he lovely?" It's like, get me out of here.
She lovely. Yeah.
So
it's a shame about that. It's a shame about that. That one track, I just can't play it. I have to skip it because it's just like, oh God, this one again. I can just about sit through Sir Duke, although it's a bit.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's okay. I've heard it too many times. Well,
anyway, who's this guy texting and having a go at dogs in pubs? They're what make pub's great.
No. Nobody should be allowed to bring a dog into a pub or any other building for that matter.
You won't even give them a sausage. Not a sausage.
No, not a sausage. Exactly.
They love sausages.
Yep, so do I.
You know, speaking of dogs, I work with dogs for my job. And we went on I do these group dog walks. And the other day we passed some fine gentlemen enjoying a prohibited substance. And I thought, I wonder if this is going to calm the dogs down, because this group was absolutely crackers. They were absolutely mad having a jive. This spurred them on. They should do a study on this. They got even more wild after that. I should have been paid double for that hour. They were going mental.
You're a dog walker?
I am indeed, yes.
How many dogs do you walk at a time?
I am insured to walk up to 6 at a time.
Insured?
Yeah, so
Who's the insurance to cover, you or the dogs?
Probably a mixture of both, I would have thought. I work
okay.
for a company, so it's above my pay grade. I mean, I assume I'm insured. That's what they told me when they hired me. But,
I wouldn't assume something like that, Laura.
Warning!
I'd read the small print if I were you.
Well, it's crazy. But anyway, I had a book query for you, because I wanted to write a book of short stories about the birds in my garden, because last year I befriended a robin to the point, come and eat off my hand and stuff. And actually, one time...
No, I don't think you should do that.
No, I've already done it, okay? End of. But the last year, he flew into my house, and I thought, I can't let my dad know about this because he's going to freak out. So I just very nonchalantly shut the door and then tried to get out. It was distressed, but he was fine after that. They're quite resilient, these little birds.
Yeah, Laura, I think, legally speaking, your house is now that bird's. That bird now owns your house. It's like a bat. If you find a bat in your house, then it's not your house anymore.
Well, that doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough to contradict it.
You haven't read the small print on that either. Blimey, you've got a lot of work to do.
But would you do the audiobook version of my book about birds?
Yeah, well, let me think about that for a second.
No.
It'll be good money.
Yeah, sure. Okay. No. But thanks for asking. Appreciate it. Very, very polite to ask.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Andrew says Trump will bring peace to the world by putting a gun to your head if you disagree. Yeah, that's about right. James in Runcorn says, I've had your magnificent Anne Widdecombe impression on repeat all day from last night's show. Keep well, mate, says James. This says, was driving the Euro truck simulation game as recommended, but Camel Mirage came on the playlist and I couldn't listen to the show and I crashed into a hedge. Now, I imagine that Mirage is a track by the band Camel.
Rock and roll!
And if that is correct, then that does mean that I have just been reading a text from a hippie. Luton. Hello, John.
Hi, have you ever heard of Caroline Levitt? She's the White House spokesman.
Right, the angry robot.
Yes, she's the one that just come off a L'Oreal hair shampoo. Look what I did to my hair. Went right blonde.
Yes.
I just turned. Somebody just showed me it. There are 2.3 million on YouTube. I thought, why that to watch her? And I clicked on it, and a guy who was obviously intellectually complimentous said to her, your President Trump, wanted to lower taxes for Americans. She said, he's doing that. And then he said, so why has he increased taxes by hiking the tariffs?
He said, have you ever paid tariffs? Because I have.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. You've seen that one. And she said, but then her response was, I wish I'd never asked you that question.
Yes.
You made me look stupid.
I don't appreciate you asking me about my knowledge of economics. Next question.
But But I can see what they're doing. The strategy of using her is just to actually go to their base, the red base, because any Democrat would think, what an idiot, and they wouldn't vote for him. But the Reds just, it's like you just change the conversation so she looks like the victim. And
every time, yes. How dare you ask me, how dare you be so mean as to ask me questions when I'm taking questions from the press? Yes, that's Trump's thing as well.
Exactly. And now they're all getting so upset about the EU for responding with 26 billion, but they've twisted that, because what's happened, and I think it's a criticism, I wish we were in the EU, wish we were. What they've done, they've piled their tariffs on America and targeted exactly where to send them, straight into the red base.
Yeah.
So the people in the red base get really, really poor. But it's just, but to be in the EU would be bliss right now.
Well, we certainly need to act in concert with the EU as far as protecting ourselves from this tangerine tornado. Yeah, we totally need to do that, because we cannot let the man win. We have to shut him out. First of all, we've got to shut him out of Ukraine. We can't let him get his weirdly small hands on Ukraine's minerals. If anybody is going to be sharing, if they're going to share the minerals with anybody, then it should be us in Europe, who have given more and suffered more than America ever has in protecting Ukraine. Yeah, absolutely. So that should be ours, not his. Shut him out of the process. What the hell's it got to do with him?
And I think I don't know what's happening in the whole Ukraine-Russia. It's so confusing. I mean, I think he's having phone calls with Putin and just talking about deals.
Well, Putin is dressing him down. Putin, it's because first of all, he sent this guy called Kellogg. I'm not making it up. That's his name. General, Super General Kellogg. He was sent as Trump's man to sort this out and stop the war in 24 hours. And Russia looked at this guy and said, "Nah, we don't like him. Who else have you got?" And so they're telling Donald Trump now which person Trump, is to send to speak to his Russian counterpart. That's the nature of the relationship. Trump's their yes man.
So right. One thing I also heard that was very alarming. New York University, one of the directors of it, said, "Don't think that Trump won't attack Canada." And he pointed out Thomas Jefferson made a famous statement about how easy it would be to walk over to take Canada without even raising a bullet. They'd all surrender. Well, so I think that's the kind of thing that Trump would love. And what he said is they want Greenland to get to Canada, which is fast. He said, you've got to understand, you've got Greenland, easy access to Canada. This guy was deadly serious about saying, don't think there aren't going to be circumstances where they are forced, or he tried to force them to become the 51st state.
Well, it would be easy to attack Canada because Canada has spent 100 more years in a cozy relationship with their cousins south of the border, America. And so even if he ramped up the rhetoric, they still wouldn't be expecting it. In the same way that it is easy to punch your friend in the face because they would never expect you to do it.
Oh my goodness! Yes, you're dead right. Things are. What, from your sense of what's going on in Ukraine, Russia? Do you see where it's going? Do you see it's coming towards peace, or is it going towards endless war? It's pretty heartbreaking seeing the war there. Can you see where it might go? I know it's an unfair question, but we are desperate for answers.
It's a little bit of an unfair question. Yeah, let me just consult my crystal ball here. No, it's a bit cloudy at the moment. I can't see very well. You're going to have to cross my hand with some more silver, John. But thanks for the question.
Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hello, number please. Trying to connect you. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Yes, Ranjit, sorry to keep you waiting.
Hiya, mate. You all right?
Yes, good, thanks.
Nick, are you sitting down?
I sit down. Yes, I do this show from a seated position.
I know you do, but I'm going to... Remember Dolly the sheep, yeah?
Yes.
Can you imagine if Donald Trump decides that he wants to clone himself a couple of times, yeah?
Well, I think he has. Lurch seems to be a Donny clone to me.
Yeah. So can you imagine, when he pops off, right? I mean, what's the other thing called cryogenic?
Yeah.
Where he wants to be suspended in animation, yeah?
Yes. Put his brain in a jar. Yeah, let's try that straight away.
So, I mean, he could be there, when you say he's going to win the next term.
No, not win, take.
Yeah.
He's not going to subject himself to another election, at least not one that he has a chance of losing. He's just going to continue in office.
Mm. And then the other thing you've done about, when Bill Gates wanted to microchip everybody and all that kind of thing, right? You know what?
Yes.
Crazy as it sounds, they've already done it because we're using our phones, we get tracked. When we pay by card, we get tracked.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's hardly anything left that they need to find out about us.
Well, I suppose over and above that, I mean, the reference to putting a chip in your brain was to control your thoughts and actions. And I suppose that the phone does exactly that. I mean, look at anybody with a phone and they just can't take their eyes off it. They look and look and look and look and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and then they put it in their pocket to do something else. And then within 10 seconds, they've got the phone back out again to see if they've missed anything.
Yeah, and another thing, if you're sitting down at home, right, having a chat and your phone's turned off totally, yeah?
Yeah.
And you'll suddenly talk about something, I don't know, say you talk about a Chrysler car or something, right?
Mm.
The next day you start getting emails or on your feeds, right, about Chrysler cars. So we're being tracked all the time, no matter what happens. They just admitted that. I mean, this is one of those things that people put on the internet and as a conspiracy theory. But I think it was one of the major corporations. I won't name it just in case I'm remembering it wrong. But one of the really big tech companies. They said, "Oh, yeah, sorry about that. We did that." Yeah. But trust us, we're not doing it now. Anybody trust them? No. And like Donald Trump now, right? He's got the ultimate power. He can pardon himself with no matter what he's done in his life.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
He doesn't. Well, he doesn't actually have to because the Supreme Court have found him innocent for anything he might do in the future. That's a fact. That's true.
Yeah. So well, I've been listening to you today, and I've been thinking about this. Donald Trump's probably got into my head a little bit as well, right? What do you think he's possibly done that the KGB has got on him? The only thing there's two things I can think, right? One is he's a KGB double agent, right?
Not smart enough. Go on.
Sometimes you need an idiot, right, to control the world, right? And he's that, yeah. And then I said yesterday that he's going to pardon, the Maxwell woman, right? She may hold the key about what he's
Quite
done.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. So they all these things now, they're not... 2 and 2 is not equaling 4. No matter which way you can look outside the box, you look inside the box, you think away from the box.
What is this? What is this box that you keep mentioning?
Logic.
Oh.
But the box is full of logic,
right?
And there's no logic in the world. I mean, if you look at like China and India, they're kind of keeping away from this for a while. Right? Because they're the
I bet they're not. I bet China is absolutely rubbing its hands with glee because with all the gaps that Trump is leaving as America pulls in its tendrils, China is just going to leap in there and fill them and win the war, either hot or cold, or the trade war or whatever you want to call it, in the long run. I mean, Trump is going to strut around and say, I did this and I did that in the short run, but China don't play short games. They play the long game.
Yeah, you know, like you're of an age, right? You probably remember the boxer called Tony Simpson. Do you remember from Derby? Well, I remember as a lad, right? Anyway, no disrespect to Tony Simpson. He was a good boxer. He was going to fight Marvin Hagler, right? And what happened, right? They showed him training. He was up from the East Midlands, you know, a great guy, right? They showed him doing the Rocky thing and that, right? And nobody actually ever knew, you know, who Marvin Hagler was or how old he was or whatever. And I think in the second round, he knocked him out. And when they asked Tony Simpson, says, mate, what do you think about Marvin Hagler? He went, well, he's definitely a great boxer, isn't he? You know what I mean? I think Trump's going to meet he's going to meet his match soon. And it won't be long now, because I think he's met his match with Mark Carney, because Mark Carney is very intelligent.
Yeah, but that's his first mistake. Being intelligent is your first mistake. You can't debate in an intelligent way with Donald Trump. You just can't. It's impossible. You will lose, because Donald Trump, he'll just walk all over you with words of one syllable. You can try to construct a complicated thought and use logic, and he will just blast all over you with, well, that's very bad and nasty and mean. And any moron will be able to understand what Trump is saying, but only an intelligent person will be able to understand what, let's say, Kamala Harris was saying. For instance, using long words with complicated thoughts. You just can't debate somebody who talks like a child.
The only thing is, right, if he starts talking about radio presenters and he goes, well, there's a guy called Nick, you know, Nick Abbot, you know, he's great, you know, he's very good, right, you know, he's in England, right, you know, he's on that great station.
Under the radar.
No, you're not. Me and you ain't under the radar, mate. I'm telling you that.
Well, I'm going to give you up in an instant, Ranjit.
No,
I'm going to tell him where you live to save myself.
See, I can't do the impression, right, but I can do the vocabulary. He's a great presenter, you know. He comes on that show Fridays and Saturdays. He's huge. He's got a good following. You know what? And I'm going to go and see him. You know what?
What?
That's when you don't need to sit by a window, mate. You know what?
No, I'm not going to sit by a
window. Go into that Battersea's home place.
Exactly right. Yeah, okay.
And remember, there was something good about remember Battersea Dog's Home? Because we're
on Battersea Dog's Home now. Wow, you are all over the shop.
Listen, you need to go into hiding, mate, because I'm telling you now.
Okay, I'll look into it very strongly. Thanks a lot, Ranjit. Wow, impossible to put the phone down. Impossible to put the phone down. But I managed to find a way. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. This text says, Nick, I had 2 customers and they were listening to you until I dropped them off. They came back and asked for the station to continue listening. 2 more listeners for you. I do believe that is a text from a cabbie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
0345 6060 973. Julia says, my dad is 82 and all my life he's told a story about being attacked by a giant earthworm that came up out of the ground in his garden in the 1970s. Maybe it was one of those up and down worms. He's 82 years old and he's told you a story about being attacked by a giant earthworm. What? On that subject, Mark in Harrow says, there's a band called Flat Worms. Is there? I don't like them. I mean, I don't know anything about them, but I don't like them. But then, you know, the Beatles doesn't sound very nice, does it? Oh, I was listening to... I came to the Beatles late in life. I've said some stupid things about the Beatles in my life, and I would like to apologise.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
I used to say stupid things like they were overrated.
What?
Yeah, me. Because I never really listened to them. I heard them on the radio, you know, they'd have a nice pop tune every now and again. I'm like, it's okay, but, you know, they're not geniuses or anything. How wrong could I be? Incorrect. And I have mentioned this a while ago, but I was listening to the remixes that George Martin's son did of the old Beatles tracks. And I tell you what, it's an absolute revelation. If you haven't heard them, then you should make time in your day. Put it on your list. Stick it in your diary. The remixed versions, and I think he started with the two best of albums, the double albums, you know, the red one and the blue one, where they're looking over the railings of the block of flats, wherever it is. Please don't tell me where it is. I can look that up at my leisure later. But it's like taking the dirt off an old master, because they were, you know, they were experimenting with the mixing in those days, and quite often they put all the vocals on one side of the stereo mix, which just sounds odd. I mean, that never sounds right. It's kind of an uncomfortable listen. And so he's fixed all of that, and he's taken the dirt off, and they use the same technology that they used to isolate the sounds in the Apple TV show Get Back, that thing that lasted about 6 hours or something, which is brilliant. Also, well worth your time. But if you listen to the originals and then you listen to the remixes, it's just sensational. And they sound new now. That's how good they are. Even as old as some of those tracks are, they sound as though they could have been made yesterday. Amazing. And I've thought for a while that somebody needs to go in there and do the same kind of work on David Bowie's albums. Now, I know that might sound like something that no one should be able to touch at all, ever. But if he can do that with the Beatles' old tracks, he can sort of separate them out and get all of the... Because it's all on one tape now. I don't think each instrument is on an individual track. And so with this technology, they can separate it all out and then put it back together again better. And he absolutely has done that. And somebody should do that with David Bowie, because, you know, some of his old albums, they don't really sound that good. I know Tony Visconti produced them, but I think it's the mixing. Don't ask me what the difference between the two jobs is. But somebody should definitely look into that very strongly.
Rock and roll!
Leading Britain's conversation, Nick Abbot. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
Yes, that is what I am trying to tell you. This text says, "Hi, Nick, I think we need to close all American military bases in Europe. They could act as a fifth column. Get them out before they get any ideas." Yeah, I think we have to remove America from our lives as much as possible. You know what Canadians are doing? Canadians are so polite. And in order to fight back against America, I wonder if I've mentioned this, maybe I have. Canadian consumers are going around supermarkets and inspecting the labels on goods. And if they spy that this is a product that comes from America or is made by an American company, they turn it upside down on the shelves and turn a few others of that type of product upside down on the shelf as well, so that when the next consumer comes along, they know which ones to avoid. How about that? And in the same vein, have you seen the Tesla ads that are popping up around London? Well, I'll come to that in a minute. The fight back is on. Let's have Plymouth. Julie.
Hello, Nick.
Julie.
Hope you're good.
Yes, good, thanks.
Oh, another satisfied customer, I think. Was it with the Canadians? If I could move somewhere, it would be Canada, not Australia,
too cold.
not America.
Too cold.
No, but you love the seasons. And I think I like the seasons too.
Yeah, it's too cold, though. I mean, you can have seasons and it be relatively mild all year long like it is here.
Oh, Nick. Well,
I mean, I don't want it to be minus 20 and have to dig the car out of snow. That's not a thing for me. Plus, the size of the insects that you get when you get extremes of weather like that is just absolutely colossal. And I couldn't live with that either.
Really?
No.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I'm not good on the insect thing, but
I like it here. What's wrong with here?
No, I like it here. I love the seasons. I love the weather. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Another satisfied customer. Thank you, Nick.
Well, you live in Plymouth. What's not to be happy about living in Plymouth?
exactly. You know, I've got all those warships out on the horizon. I can see them all, and that's lovely. I wanted to link a few things. Oh, do you know, never guess whose birthday it is today?
Whose?
It's Father Christmas's. It's actually St. Nicholas's birthday today.
Is it?
Yeah. I thought, I'll have to tell Nick that, because it's like, yeah, 270 AD he was born on the 15th of March. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I know that. I must have seen it.
What would you get him for a birthday present?
I'd make him some green tomato chutney.
No, he's got that.
Oh, God. A scented candle.
No, he's got that.
I'd give him the pleasure of my company over a glass of mulled wine for an hour.
Right, well, OK, he doesn't have that.
Now, Nick, Tom and Jerry, my lovely, do you know that got banned because they thought it was too violent?
Well,
and we loved it, didn't we?
Where did it get banned?
I think it just got banned from, like, television places, you know, because and one minute we're loving it, and then the next minute, I do remember reading an article saying they felt it was too violent.
Yeah, I vaguely remember reading the same thing, but I can't remember whether they banned it here or in America or some other stupid place. Too violent. It's a cartoon.
I know, and great. And that leads me on to something I've been dying to tell you for a couple of weeks, that Larry the cat turned up for the summit. He's okay. He's looking quite well, actually.
Why? Where's he been?
Well, we haven't seen him for ages, and we all worry about him. But I was watching the summit and the Italian Prime Minister arriving, and Larry just came along the road. He said, "This is important. Got to be there for the summit." And
what, the cat did?
Yeah, the cat was there. He was outside. He was like with the press. And
the cat said, "Is this important?"
No, I just really knew it was. You know,
right.
He's got a lot of manners, more than like Trump and dealing with Zelensky and that. And then that leads me on to, I got a cat from Battersea Dogs and Cats Home when I lived in Beckenham. And that leads me on to, I used to leave the window ajar because I didn't have a cat flap. And he used to bring in worms. My dining room carpet would be not full of worms, but there'd be about half a dozen worms. I'd be like, what are you doing to me?
God.
What are you bringing them in for? And I know, very strange. I moved him off to the countryside then. Whitney.
I've never heard of a cat bringing worms
honestly,
in the house.
I couldn't believe it. And he would just like slightly touch them so that they'd like wriggle. And I used to get my dustpan and brush and gently brush them all up and then take them all out into the garden.
Yeah, and he's thinking, what are you doing that for? I just brought you worms.
I know. And I'll give him some tidbits and then I'd close the window and say, naughty, you're not going out anymore.
You totally
so
understand
strange.
that. Yeah, you certainly are.
Very.
You certainly are, Julia. And
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. I mean, what do they taste like apart from anything else? Ugh. You'd put one in your mouth and you'd get the idea, wouldn't you? To never do that again. David Durham says, just a thought, Greenland is part of Denmark. Denmark is part of NATO. So if Trump invades Greenland, will America come to their defence? Yeah. America have been very bad to us, and we're going to take very strong action. This text says, why doesn't Canada threaten to take Alaska? It's not attached to America, because to quote Trump on Borders, somebody just drew a line. Yeah, exactly. Well, some wag is suggesting doing just that. I read that today. Don't let me forget about the Tesla ads. Adam in Leeds says, my grandfather taught me two things. Never trust a man in a wig, and how to kiss a woman. The first pertains to Trump, in my view.
I don't wear a toupee.
Yeah, and the second is something that Donald Trump not very good at, particularly if Melania is wearing her anti-Donald hat.
I don't care.
She just doesn't care about him one way or the other. Made that very clear. This says, Nick, have you seen the news that Barcelona and mainland Spain are putting their clocks forward for the first time at the end of March for the final time? Wait, what? Have you seen the news that Barcelona and mainland Spain are putting their clocks forward for the final time at the end of March and scrapping daylight savings time. Really? Really? Or are the rest of Europe doing that too? Because that would be a bit weird if Spain was on a different time to the rest of Europe. Donald Trump said he was going to do that. It's about the only sensible thing he ever said he was going to do. And, of course, as soon as he had the power to do it, he didn't want to do it anymore. Another promise lying on the floor, unfulfilled. Liar! Exactly. Let's have Isle of Wight. Hello, Billy.
Evening, Nick.
Billy.
How are you this evening?
Yes, very good, thanks.
Well, I called in and I was talking to your glamorous assistant about this hoo-ha on the benefits being cut.
Yeah.
Now, I was doing a little bit of research. Since 2013, the government have spent something in the region of £400 billion taking appealants to the tribunals.
Yeah.
Now, half of those cases, at least, are overturned when they get to that point in favour of the person appealing. And I just feel like, why are we making such a fuss, or why are they making such a fuss over £6 billion? And moreover, why is Rachel Reeves shifting the goalposts against her own metrics that she's set? I mean, surely it would just make more sense for her to put her hands up and say, look, my economic rules, my physical rules are clearly not working.
Wow. Talk about a way to bring a show down. You just blasted this show out of the air. What's this show ever done to you?
No, Nick, do you know, that's exactly the reason why I listen into you, ironically.
Right.
But I'm in a bit of a moany mood.
Yeah, you certainly are, yeah. I don't know why they're doing it, because taxing rich people is not the done thing. I've got no idea. I mean, they seem to be a bit push me, pull you, don't they? Because they are going for landowners. They call them farmers, but it's landowners they're going for. People who've got millions and millions of pounds. Those people who are squealing, they're not really farmers, they're landowners. So they're doing the right thing, in my opinion, there. And they've tightened up the non-dom rules. There's probably still massive loopholes, you would think there are, for wealth managers to leap through holding their clients' cash. So some right things, some wrong things. I don't know. I would expect that particularly the disability, the PIP payments, I bet they don't touch that. They've had their fingers burnt. That stupid thing they did with the old person's heating allowance. They're not going to do anything that stupid again, surely.
Well, you'd like to think that they're not, wouldn't you? I mean, you mentioned property. I totally agree with you. In fact, when I was waiting to come on air, I was thinking about, of course, landlords. There's so much money that gets drained out of the economy every year because rents go up and up and up. I mean, I'm not expecting them to turn around and have the finger pointed at them by the right-wing media and accused of being socialists for imposing rent controls. But wouldn't it make more sense, if they're concerned about the disability bill going up, a lot of people on PIP will be renting in the private sector. Mm-hmm. Why don't they just create a new rule where if you're a landlord and you have multiple properties, a certain percentage has to be let out to those on benefits, and the rent has to be frozen for a set period of time, say 10 years. Yeah. And then that deals with the problem, doesn't it? It deals with the issue of this exponential increase in benefit, in the benefit bill.
But it doesn't deal with the problem of this programme lying on the ground, flapping like a fish out of water. And that's your fault, that is. You've yanked this show out of the water and you just left it on the ground, flapping, gasping for air. Got to go, Billy. Got to go. But thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. Ed in London says, hi, Nick, there are plenty of goods and services that are exempt from VAT. For example, certain financial services sectors are exempt. Right. Yeah, food, I think books, perhaps, stuff like that, yeah. Dan in Sanderstead says, And if you're wondering what on earth has that got to do with anything, that last message about VAT, that was about a throwaway comment I made ages ago. Seems like days ago, but it was on this show. Dan in Sanders says, says, I'm a medical cannabis user in the UK. Hey, Dan.
Want to score some pot?
He says, I use a vape. The cartridges are bought from foreign lands and then sold to me via a clinic at £95 a cartridge. The UK is one of the world's largest exporters of cannabis meds, but apparently we're not allowed to access it because this is the UK and we don't do rational things anymore. How long until we're all orange with bad hair? I believe that this country produces more medicinal cannabis than any other country in the world. It seems bizarre that we would be preeminent in that, and yet that we're sort of an outlier now as far as the rest of the West goes, with this determination that we can still win the war on drugs. Hey, how's the war on drugs going, by the way?
Oh, fabulous.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Come on, we're running late.
We are running late. Lara rather, from Surrey says, have you seen that the Screaming Baby is now going to ban citizens from 43 countries? I just wonder how that'll work if the countries include players in the next World Cup. Yeah, I bet he hadn't thought about that. I'm just going to give the trophy to me. I won. Everybody says so. Mo says, what is your motive for being so nasty about Mr. Trump, who I doubt you have ever met and know little about other than malicious gossip? You're an idiot, Mo. I mean that in a helpful way. Bath. Hello, John.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
I'll tell you what, I've got a couple of things, but to talk about. I'm going to kind of keep it short because we're at the end of the programme. But, I'm wearing out my rosary beads while talking to you.
Well, the best of luck with that. I hope they work for you.
Well, they're not. I've got a short rosary bead here. There's only 10, Hail Marys in this one, rather than the full 50 or 20. Right. But anyway, first thing I wanted to say was you were absolutely correct about it's no disrespect to the Thin Duke. I think it's necessary for these things to be kind of slightly remastered. He'd probably want them to be, because, in the same way with the Beatles, you have to remember, through a few of their albums, they were chased around a room by Phil Spector with a gun. I mean, it's like, and they did like 4-track and then they put 8-track on top of it and stuff like that. And I remember, like you do, like one group of singers in the left ear and then whatever it is. And when you hear it mastered by Martin's son,
yes,
I think it's very good.
It's better than that. It's absolutely sensational, and somebody should definitely do it to David Bowie's albums, because I'll be honest now, and this is going to shock people. I'm going to go and say it. They don't sound very good. They don't sound as though they have been mixed very well.
Yeah, but actually, it's kind of like it's in its time of its time. I mean, I love vinyl, but it's just like when you put a pair of headphones on and you listen to it, you're not listening to it in a room. And you actually sit there and you listen to it with a pair of headphones on. And you can, it just needs to be elevated up, because the music is worth being elevated.
Yes, it needs to be cleaned up and rearranged. It just needs to be, it's like an old master that's covered in dirt. You just need to take the dirt off.
That's it. I don't want to, I sat at a classical concert years ago where I heard one of Mozart's pieces played with traditional instruments that were around at his time. Right? And it was very interesting. But to be honest, when I hear it played by an orchestra that's the instruments have just moved on, it has a whole different kind of feel to it. And it's not, it's the notes on the paper is how he imagined it. And it's the same way. I mean, I'm sure if Bowie he loved technology.
Oh, yeah, he would be all for. I mean, when he was alive, first of all, I bought the albums on vinyl in the 70s when they came out. And then I bought them on CD when they sounded terrible. And then I bought this is all of them. And then I bought the remixed versions on CD, which still didn't sound that great. And then I think I bought the anniversary edition. So I've got at least 4 copies of all of his albums, none of which sound as good as they could. And I would hope that George Martin's son would be employed by the David Bowie people to relook at those albums, because I mean, they could sell them all again. I'd buy them all.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. And it's like, Bob Dylan's a different thing. When he just had a guitar in his hand when he was young, you can't really mess about.
No,
with
there's
it.
not much you can do with that. No,
but the point is though. I mean, listen, I like yourself. I've rebought all of the Pink Floyd albums probably 3-4 times now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The only one I didn't bother, I kept on vinyl, was Land.
Right.
And
but it's not one you play much, I imagine.
No, it's not.
No.
But what I was going to say, on top of which, right, I was going to say something about, do you remember what it was like, when a rite of passage, that you would actually feel as if you've kind of grown up a bit? Your first cheque that you wrote. A lot of the young people listening won't know what that feels like to write a cheque.
Yeah, they'll be like,
right?
What's a cheque, Grandad?
What's that then there?
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think, how big were Donald Trump's checkbooks? His signature is enormous.
Yeah. Can you keep it within the cheque, please, Mr. Trump?
I don't know. He couldn't have signed anything. Even the legal document. You're talking about like half a foot of signature.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's overcompensating for, but anyway, that's all we can imagine.
Yeah, his big boy squiggle that he puts on anything that people put in front of him, and they look like menus. Yeah, they look like menus to me. I think it's today's selection is what they're presenting him with.
But finally, Nicky, just quickly, do you know that you had a caller talking up about worms only going sideways and coming up?
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not sure if that's true, but I think once they come up, they go sideways. I mean, because they can't go down again. And the point is, though, look, what happens if, like...
oh, you mean they transition?
Yeah, and what happens when they're cut in half? Do you remember, like, I had a horrible friend as a child. He used to cut them in half.
Cut them in half, yeah.
And they'd move around. So, I don't...
Well, both ends would move around, and I think only one end would survive. But
only one,
yeah.
But then it would regrow itself. And, that's what Donald Trump's hoping for with the cryogenics thing.
Yeah, I imagine it would annoy a worm, and eventually they'll get together and deal out some punishment back at us.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Anyway,
so,
to be honest, I think the worms were going to find out that that we're looking for outer space life forces. I'm sure they're in control of everything. The worms.
Worms.
Yeah. Well, let's face it. I mean, you had another caller saying that Canada was going to hurt America because the fertilizer situation. I mean, they're not going to be short of fertilizer. They've got Donald Trump.
Yeah. Okay. Could see that one coming a mile away.
I know. Sorry, mate.
All right. Say goodbye. Thanks a lot, John. Heather in Lee says, are you ready for the outrage towards Liverpool fans booing the national anthem tomorrow? Mark in Holy says, this week the Tangerine Tyrant said there is a period of transition. Maybe the Mango Moron is fully transitioning to an orange fruit. It says, my autistic son likes that game. It's called Goat Simulator. It's a real thing, is it? I was given a Euro Truck Simulator and an American Truck Simulator. I haven't played it, but like the idea because it lets you drive along real roads and cities all over Europe and America so you can see them in a virtual environment, as I can't afford to go there in person right now. Yeah, but why would you want to see that? Roads that trucks drive down. I don't get it. And this says, on that subject, it is possible to watch a video of somebody watching a video of somebody playing the aforementioned trucking simulator as they drive a truck for 9 hours across the continent. You have got to be kidding me. It's possible to watch a video of someone watching a video of someone playing the trucking simulator for 9 hours. Okay. That's it. The human race has gone too far. I'm leaving. Get Elon Musk on the phone. I want to be on that first space rocket out of here. I can't get to the other calls. Sorry about that, because I've just completely run out of time. Let me see now. Some to end. I'll go from the back to the front. See how far I get. Robert in Saffron Walden says, I see Trump has instructed Musk to rescue the stranded astronauts. Oh, well, that fits right in with what I just said. These stranded astronauts who were being held up there by evil Joe Biden. A bit like Thunderbirds. Cue the White House photo opportunity next week with Trump, Musk and the grateful astronauts. Let's see. Oh, we'll see, all right. I wouldn't get on that, having seen his recent performance in sending up rockets. I wouldn't get on anything that Elon Musk has sent into the air, or along the ground, for that matter. I didn't have time to get to the Tesla ads thing, which is a shame. But you can probably look that story up on the internet. The swastika ads made me laugh. Right, that's it. If you missed any part of this super show, then be assured that the Friday and Saturday night shows get put up the internet as a podcast. It's on Global Player. Global Player is free from the App Store or globalplayer.com. And the thing to ask for is Nick Abbott, the whole show podcast. I'll be back tonight at 10. Coming up at 4, Henry Riley. But first, here's Clyde Bull. 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 First, here's Clyde Bull.